Greetings, mortals. I'm Natus, the ruler of Manga Hell, and today we will be reacting to the newest chapter of My Hero Academia, chapter 323, That Single Step. Now, as you may recall, we ended the last chapter with the Class 1A bringing Izuku back into UA with a bunch of people protesting and Ochaku grabbing Izuku's hand. The Ochaku Izuku shippers went crazy. In fact, you can still hear them outside. Although that might be because of the newest chapter. Either way, let's get into this chapter already. Looks like we'll be starting this chapter with another flashback. I guess it does make sense since, well, I guess we have to get like what exactly was the school's mindset. Did they expect this? Did they didn't? So I guess it makes sense. So we are still in the principal's office. I'm guessing this is after I never agreed to let them go. But yeah, let's see. Now we get Sir. I'm guessing this is Ida. And judging by the panel below, it very likely is. Sir, you spoke of the UA barrier proving its worth, but at that same time, we understand Midori's concerns too. If we are to drag him back to school, we'll need convincing evidence, which is why I said we would follow him. This concerns the safety and security of the evacuations. This is no mere appeal to sentiment. It could be said that Midoriya is now the most valuable battle asset that the heroes have, so no matter what happens next, it would be risky to give him shelter at an unprepared substandard facility. So I guess Nezu is now explaining to us exactly the UA barrier and some of the problems with, let's say, having him and the rest of the class be in, let's say, in Devil's agency as like that stronghold or something. So yeah, UA is equipped with our nation's most advanced defense technology. For that very reason, we pride ourselves on being as well defended as Tartarus even. Yeah, because that ended up well. Although at least those giant robots will finally not be used to beat the ever-loving shit out of their students. Now we have Momo. Very likely be the voice of Iza be like, but sir, Shigaki easily broke through Tartarus' defenses. Indeed, ever since he attacked UA last year, I have put considerable thought into the threat posed by Shigaraki. And we get the panels of the original UA barrier getting decayed. Which either Tartarus or UA Barrier, both of them really work as an example since, the way Shiraki's quirk was always explained seemed to be like indiscriminate decay. Like the only exceptions are things that you can't really like hold with your five fingers, like water. If I drop this water, I could have some of it on my hand, but I couldn't decay it. Do not ask what powers I have. I may be overloaded, but I cannot reveal all my secrets in these reaction videos. So we have Nazo being like, which is precisely why I've added my own personal touches to the fortifications on UA's defense system. Who knew that was possible? There was much heated debate. And as for some of you who may have at least heard the spoilers, you would actually know what that means. Also, we'll get into that thing after I get the explanation of the new barrier. And we have that. So to make a long story short, if an invasion were to begin at this very moment, no harm would come to the evacuations or students. A real insurgent would not succeed. The UA barrier is more than mere walls. UA itself can travel. The grounds are partitioned like a game board, and each section is equipped with mechanisms that transform it into an underground emergency shelter. Dadum? I'm guessing that's just the voice of the whole transition. Then, those individual shelters enter a linear Maglev network that can send them along any number of routes at our discretion. Anyway, coming direct into this. or extremely mechanized and probably not something people were expecting, in all honesty. I mean, like, it's like we are living in a giant robot anime, which is true. Like, you know those robot anime where they have, like, I don't know how many elevators that travel all over? That's essentially what's going on. And we even see, like, a panel of how it looks like, where we have how it looks like from the top and the travel network at the bottom. It's a similar panel to when we got the Villa Mountain raid. So yeah, but you gotta be honest, I'm impressed how well some of these constructions can go with these facilities. I mean, they have like insanely elaborate tunneling systems and extremely large ones. So yeah, now we have Nezu continuing. However, it would all be for naught if the system itself were to crumble. Therefore, we we fortify the ground with about 3,000 layers of bulwark plates. Should be system detect unusual activities, a countermeasure will activate. The connecting pillars will unlock, rendering each plate independently mobile. This will significantly delay any incoming attack, during which time the shelter can speed off to safety. So I guess this is supposed to explain like how okay we may not be able to like find a way to get around Jackie holding something decaying, but we could make it so we will have a less of a danger of it. So we now have Kami and Toga. I guess they're also referencing that from the that was what's they called the provisional license exams. Yes, Shiketsu was the first to fortify the security system in a similar manner. In the wake of learning that an impostor had possessed as a student of theirs, it is just one amongst several other scholars that have aero courses that could have provide a heaven should we need to flee. So, okay, the last chapter I thought that the Shiketsu was the Miss Joke School, but it's actually the Wind Kids and that one. So, of a mistake. So we now have well next panel we have so it'd be like Shiketsu. That's a long ways away, and we get actually an idea how long of a gap there is. There's UA in the east, Shiketsu in the west. Yeah, come to think of it. Alluded in Volume 8 after the supplementary logic courses. Which, this I feel like is wrong because this, I may not have the biggest, I may not have a computer's level of knowledge, but I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be uh, Volume 18 instead of 8. Because this whole supplementary lessons courses are in the Volume 18. So I guess they must have missed a while. Maybe when Hikoshi was writing, whoever, I guess that was missed. I mean, it's 18 and 8, so I guess it's more understandable. But yeah, now we get to that one people are probably gonna be talking about the most. This upgrade seems designed to deal with decay transmitting through objects, but how could you have known at the time of the school festival how this quirk would evolve? Which is true, this security system was put in place at that time, so that does explain some of this stuff. So that does raise the question: when did you do that? I'm more curious how he was able to build all that without no one noticing. I mean, you would think this building structure would be some of the most loudest and the most well known. I mean, you know those when they have to repaint some building or fix the sidewalk. That's what. That's imagine that, but a billion times more needed. But I guess it's anime logic, so we don't have to focus on it. And then we have Nether. Indeed, there was no existing evidence for such a thing. I relied on my intuition. And now we have Nether be like, that is why I covered the expenses myself out of pocket. Well, I guess we know who's the richest person in the world in My Academia. Who knew it was Nazu? And then we have coming down and be like, that's gotta be way more than a few 100 million yen. You got deep pockets, sir. And we see, I believe, this symbol for money in Japan, in Kaminai's eyes, coming off his nose, and between his teeth. And they would end up like the principal's major contributor to quirk morality education have made him a man of worldwide renown. That work of his continues to this very day. Whoa! So I guess that explains why Nazu is so high, is so rich. Lack of understanding, intolerance. It seems we are always just one step away. Try as it might, humanity struggles to make true progress down its path. Issues shift and voices clash, making that single step feel like an impossible journey. In any case, I believe there is a sound argument to be made for him being here with us. Go on, tackle the matter with your full power. So yeah, let's start talking about what people have been mentioning, and I'm sure some of you probably may have even like saw some of the spoilers or some kind of references if you've been on My Academia or social media at all, and that is a lot of people think that because Nazu made this barrier is like evidence that he is the UA traitor basically, which to me, the first time I read it, like the spoilers, like those unofficial translations, which you can blame them, but I would say I just didn't notice, is that apparently that could the only way for him to like prepare would be that he would be actively aware, as if let's say he worked with Ujiko or maybe All for One Mancha or something like that, which makes sense. Which makes sense, but you have to also consider Nazu's intelligence. So it does make sense how Nazu would be like, quirks can evolve, and some can get a lot stronger. If the Shiraki's quirk could evolve, that could be a very logical step forward. Because let's be real, okay, destruction, but one destroys something and then it leads to something else is a more standard anime thing. It may not be the case specifically, but it's a pretty standard thing. So yeah, no, something a lot of people have been bring up about this UA barrier is that it could be used as a trap mechanism. Trapping every student and people, people in location for the villains to come and raid. Which to me makes sense if Nazo is the UA traitor. So yeah, I would definitely say this is one of those like it makes sense for Nazo's character, but it also would make sense why he would be the traitor. Also, in case some of you are asking about the traitor, it hasn't been mentioned a lot or anything. No, there's some fair speculation that has to do because All for One went away, and that's why there was no mention of a traitor. And since Nazo's position, he probably wouldn't have any reason to actively go against it, which does make sense. And you could also say that it's time to like keep a down low. Like, there's no reason for you to like actively attack. The only time where I feel like the traitor should have at all come is like in the war arc, which does make me wonder he wasn't. But the thing you have to remember is that Nazu had that even if Nazu is there, there's no guarantee like Ujiko had connection with the traitor or anyone. Like the only one that the UA traitor is guaranteed going to have connections to is All for One, who was in Tartarus, which would explain why there was no traitor activity. So yeah, people are speculating, and we'll see if that's true. So now we have the people going back to the civilians, and they're like, "Don't let that kid enter UA. Shigaki will come after him. UA guaranteed us we'll be safe here." Question: they know Shigaki wants to destroy everything, so he would come attack you guys either way. And we say him, continue, keep him out, get lost, kid. And Ochako looks at something determined, and we get we get a panel of Izuku's mom crying and wanting to go to Izuku, I guess, since it does make sense. Like, she hasn't seen his kid after he explained everything, and you know how things go. And we see Baku's mom, careful, keep back. Being like, alright, the Inca, you better not go in there. I mean, I don't know what be your boy, but clearly it's hostile. We also see Shiraki, well, we see Jiro's dad, which for some reason people were saying that it's Jiro's mom, which I still haven't seen. I think it's just a confusion. You know it is. I mean, they both have long hair, and it's a very side panel of him. So I guess that's maybe why. Or maybe he appears somewhere next. It's just that it's unofficial, made it hard to see. But yeah, now we have having one for all makes him a normal, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how it works. I mean, I'm not sure how this came, but alright. Anyways, we see Class 1B, NATO conferring Erie. Surprised that the Docs of UA was allowed to do that. I would think the Docs of UA is the main reason why Erie doesn't interact with Class 1B. Or maybe they were interacting more because they want to see if, let's say, if Momo can improve his copy quirk. Or maybe you could say some trade affair or something, I don't know. Now we see a panel where we see Kota and Ragdoll, covering him with umbrellas, which it's funny how it's raining, but not that many of them actually have umbrellas on the go. And there's too scary. Go someplace else. So even like the people who want screaming and go away are like, yeah, we're a bit concerned. And we have something like, we've just supposed to let him hide here. They don't seem convinced. Saseo, and we see the phone with that demon, they'll be like, Furious, she goes after a US student. It is true that Cherokee is targeting a US student? What on earth are all for one and one for all? So I guess it's spread the names are out, but they have no direct mentionings of things. I wonder if this demon dude is also works for the League of Villains. I mean, I don't want to go the whole racist thing. Women, I'm a devil. I'm way worse than racist. No, I don't want to go with anything like that, anyways. But you know, this guy seems to be mentioned a lot, and I don't believe was all that antagonistic. He does seem to be a regular feature. Or maybe he's just supposed to represent the dark side of stuff like this, and that's more supposed to symbolize. I don't know really. So we have 13. Some of them were more understanding earlier, but not all of their doubts could be assuaged. So I guess they did explain this, but some of them were more calm, but they more than now. And then some might be like, let's keep calm, folks. This is a difficult argument to hear coming from school teachers. It was I who made this proposal. Genie? I guess Reginald wants to take the blame since, it would. I guess Best Genius and C is the number 3, and people will probably like, if there are any heroes, I would say Best Genius, Endeavor, and Hawks. Well, Best Genius would probably be the safer one that would make the most amount of sense. And we see some girls react to this, and they're like, "It's Genius. We are only here because we trusted you." And we just be like, "Indeed, as the principal has explained, UA is currently the safest place to be. Your safety is our top priority. At first, we decided to take the fight to the enemy. We used Izuku Midori as bait, in hopes all of learning the village located. However, our search grid wasn't sufficiently wide enough, and their operation met with limited success. So I guess he wants to explain to them, alright, if they wanted to attack him, they could have attacked him. Like, we were using him as bait. Like, we put him in an extremely risky situation. If they didn't attack him then, chances are they're likely that they won't attack him now either. Izuku Midori may be the villain's target, but he is also one of our ultimate resources in battle. Allowing him to grow even more worn and frayed could lead to a fatal loss. Which I guess he also tries to explain to them, look at the kid. He is clearly no condition to be running around saving your lives. So we have to at least bring him back to speed. And now we have continue. Now we have him continue. Is this the optimal course of action? No. We now rely on our backup plan. I understand why you do not willingly welcome this omen of unease. And we see Shoto, Endeavor, and Hawks being outside. I guess it's supposed to be like keep the ones who are hit the most out and probably like, alright, let's see if there's anyone going to attack. After all, this is like a perfect moment for one of those assassins to strike, if not all the remaining ones. After all, they're on their knees, and as soon as he walked the door, a giant rocket into would make things even worse. And we're just continuing, but please allow him to rest his very body in this secure stronghold, so that when needed, he can once again join the battle of peak condition. And we see people like looking, I guess, and you losers failed and let Japan turn into this lawless wasteland. Well, I won't say it's a wasteland, but it's still pretty destroyed. And now you failed again? And you're out here telling us to pay the price for more of your mistakes? Wait, what? How is that them failing? They had a plan. It turns out their plan didn't go as they were hoping to. I mean, just saying, like the plan was to your benefit, people. I mean, I get it's supposed to be the emotions are high and all, but let's think about this logically. I mean, alright, makes sense. Like, at least rest so they'll be able to continue the plan more. And then we have more of them screaming, "No way!" And we see Zuko shrink, tingling a bit, and we see Izuku's danger sense. This is bad. This says something about in what state the public is right now. Because Izuku's danger sense doesn't work on everything. It works specifically on harming intent. Like, if someone is just screaming at you, I doubt it's gonna work. But if someone goes to punch you, it will work. So I'm not sure if these guys will go to him and punch him, but these are so angry that it could be considered they'll attack you if they got a chance. Because they're holding an act. I wouldn't be surprised they'll probably be knocking him out, dragging him to the public, and say, "All fine, hey, that's what you want. Take him and leave us alone." Wouldn't be surprised. So yeah, we have some heroes you are. Give us a freaking break all we want. I'm guessing this is I'm guessing this is the older people. And you see Mike being like, "No dice." That unease spreads until it explodes. And we see Mike, a couple of civilians going crazy and crazy, Inca crying because they're basically telling, "Yeah, your son doesn't matter safety. We care much more. We don't even want to let your son rest. It's a safe place to sleep at night." I guess that's what the civilians want. We're noticing the irony. And we see Ochako leaping above them, grabbing Presentma's the speaker he's talking to. We see Bakugo staring at, and then we see Ochako's parents looking at her. I guess they're shocked. I guess she jumped so high that people are shocked because she went right at top of the UA building, which is a pretty giant age. And she'll be on top. And you see, I guess, Izuku Midora has a special power in him. Yeah, God for him. Good for him. He wants to break so he doesn't gotta rest here. You see, majority screaming at him, "You don't get it. He left school in the first place because he didn't want to make trouble for anyone. We were the ones who brought him back here." Like, he completely agrees with you. He's 100% on your side. We had to convince him to come here. And then we see Izuku being Uraka. And we have the Lato. This is the Lato that explained one for all. That power of his, yeah, it's really special. Well, we're talking over it. It's a power that exists to break all for one. Beat all for one. That's why they are after him. That's why he had to leave this place. He left and went through who knows what out there. Well, apparently he fought this one kaiju villain. And he's like, take a good look at him. Which makes sense. Like, people, look at it. What says here is in. Everywhere else would be idiotic and barely help anyone. Is it Inca? I guess this is the first time she actually got a good look since she was probably very back and first got out of the crowd. And then we see like Izuku's gloves, which are like so broken they look like claws. His feet as well look like claws. And then that kid who was previously screaming at him, as well as some other guy, actually looked at him and they're like, "Oh shit!" And judging by this guy's expression, he was like, "Oh, this kid went through hell, didn't he? He didn't just like move a while. Like he actually did stuff. Oh." More than anyone, he wishes he could fix everything. You're looking at a guy who could be attacked at any second by continuous to move forward anyway. So really look at him, please. So I guess more people are realizing, taking a look at him, and they realize, wait, this kid wants to help us. Like he is on our side when it comes to what would be the best course. So they are all now, at her and a bit looking at him and like thinking. And then we see the woman that Izuku uh, saved when when he was on his own, traveling on his own, and she's also looking at him, and I guess, and now she's recognizing him. It's him. He's the boy who saved me. She's probably knows him because the costume is very similar, and it would make sense. Special powers on one thing, but there is no such thing as special person. And she's trying to calm down, and Bakugo is like, "We got this whole crazy defense system to protect these people, but they're still so scared. We are here to step in when you can't handle it all alone." So I guess Bakugo wants to tell him again. We are here to help you, Izuku. No need to like go listen to these people. And then we see ectoplasm, two ectoplasms, as well as Samantha's holding Nezu. I guess they wanted to increase the security just in case. And then we see Nezu be like, that single step feels like an impossible journey. And I believe once someone makes that unlikely step and carves a path, the ultimate hero will rise up, one who surpasses even Yagi, yes, even All Might himself. And then we see Ochako. No, I'm not guessing this is just him talking like figurative. Like there are some like All Might was great because he was the strongest. He could save everyone. But now that he's gone, there have to be people that will find a way to save everyone in other situations. And now he's trying. We're saying this over Ochako because right now what they need someone to like calm the civilians down, which is a lot harder because you can't because attacking wouldn't help much. So yeah, this chapter is primarily focused on explaining the barrier and Ochako's development, which is a pretty nice, which makes it a pretty nice chapter. Like it's nothing groundbreaking, but it is understandable, and it's great to see how they're actually talking about mentioning things that would be like logically a problem. Like it's not something that you can just show how powerful you are and call it a day. So yeah, it's pretty interesting to see. All in all, I am a bit concerned if the villains are gonna attack right now, since this seems like a perfect opportunity. I mean, most people I'm guessing will now be alright. I guess it makes okay. Let's allow him to stay here for now. But there are still going to be some who will be protesting. I wouldn't be surprised if, let's say, there's a time skip in the next chapter, and then we have some of the students looking outside the dorm will be like, yep, they're still protesting you, but it's a smaller crowd. So, yeah. Now, again, I'm a bit concerned if this means that a villain will attack, like those assassins. I believe there are still 4 of them left. Or 3, I'm not exactly sure the number anymore. I think they might attack and they will try to take Izuku back, which would be a problem because if the previous 2, Lady Nagant as well as Dictator, are any concern, some of those villains could be some well-known names, which would honestly probably be even worse because imagine well-known villains attack the city. But yeah, that's it for the chapter. chapter. Tell me in the comments below what do you think about this chapter. Leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more videos in the future. And with that said, I cannot wait to see all of you people next time. Goodbye.